45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal back. He ran it back 109 yards. They're not going to keep him off the field tonight. Holy cow. Oh, my God. Auburn wins. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl in the most unbelievable fashion you will ever see.
Whoa, welcome in everyone to a brand new edition of the Dream Wager, episode 381. I am your host, D-Rock, and joining me as always is our partner in crime, our NBA guru, Elvis Acosta E. The Mets have won a baseball game, kid.
Good times, Dills. Great time to be alive. Mets are looking alive. Nets got a great win last night. Shout out my man Bobby saying that we sucked, even though we pulled off the win. You know, great overall day. Loaded weekend ahead of us. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Hey, you guys are technically alive still. Only about 6 games out of that 10th seed. But, yeah, technically alive. The Mets won. The Nets won. Knicks, not the best news, but yeah, we got a loaded show for everyone today. We got some NFL news we'll discuss, some NBA news as well. 13 MLB slate for this Friday. We got 12 games in the association as well. Week 2 of the UFL. We got good matchups. Memphis against San Antonio. Arlington against St. Louis. My sister will actually be at the DC Defender game taking on Houston Roughnecks. Should be a good game. We got both Final Fours this weekend. Men's Final Four, NC State, Purdue, Bama, UConn. The women's Final Four, North Carolina State, South Carolina, UConn, Iowa, Paige Beckers, and Caitlin Clark. Woo, it's a lot to get into, kid, but we will start with the breaking news that happened yesterday. Bills finalized a trade to send 4-time Pro Bowler Stefon Diggs to the Houston Texans for some draft compensation. The Bills receive a 2025 second-round pick from Minnesota in a trade. The Texans, they receive Stefon Diggs and a 2024 sixth-round pick and a 2025 fifth-round pick. So let's take a look at this new offense. You got a CJ Stroud. They got Joe Mixon in the offseason. They got Stefon Diggs for the new wide receiver 1. Nico Collins coming back. He'll be wide receiver 2. Tank Dell. Let's not forget about Tank Dell and the connection he had. And then in tight end, Dalton Schultz. I mean, we've seen everybody in the AFC South kind of get better. They saw Tennessee Titans. They upgraded their offense. We saw Jacksonville be at top of the division as well for a few years. The Colts getting Anthony Richardson back. I like what this team did. You know, on a rookie deal with CJ Stroud, they said, you know what? We got to go all in as well, too. We see other teams getting better. We need to get better as well. So I love what they're doing, and I think they were able to do this because CJ's on this rookie deal.
Exactly, Dill. That's the whole point of this move, Dill. You saw... Not saw, but like look at the Seattle a couple years ago. Look at Patrick Mahomes when he had his rookie deal. Look at Joe Burrow with Cincinnati a couple years ago. They were all able to have success / go all in because those quarterbacks are on a rookie deal. You know, if I'm the Texans, this is a win now move. You know, yeah. I know I have CJ Stroud on a rookie deal for the next 3 seasons. I'm trying to go win a Super Bowl before I pay him. You know, you just traded for Stefon Diggs. You saw all the moves they made this offseason before was all win now moves. Like Hunter from Minnesota, excellent pass rusher, great to on the opposite side of Will Anderson. You got one of the best left tackles in the free agent, Romney Tunsil. You was able to pick him up. So the fact that you're making all these win now moves, even adding Joe Mixon, a veteran running back, those are all key acquisitions. Gonna take more pressure off the quarterback. Your defense got better. Your running game got better, and now you added one of the best wide receivers in football to already, I'm gonna say, pretty damn good wide receiver locker room. It's just it adds the cherry right on top. So great move for the Texans. I love everything they're doing. It shows me that they're in a win now situation, Dale. To be honest, the Texans should be. All I'm gonna say is right now they're 4th to represent the AFC in the odds. They should be 2nd ahead. They should at least be ahead of the Bills. Bengals. I'm gonna give the Bengals that courtesy of respect, but they should at least be right there in the mix with the Bengals behind the Chiefs and Baltimore.
The Bill, the Bill. I don't even think you could consider the Bengals. I think the Bills' window's closed. I mean, what they've lost this offseason in their secondary. They lost Gabe Davis. They lost Stephon Diggs. We're gonna see what Josh Allen is really made of now. I like Josh Allen. I think he's a top 5 quarterback in the league. I don't think there's much debating that. But now we're gonna really see what him and Sean McDermott's really about, because they don't have Gabriel Davis anymore. They don't have Stephon Diggs. Their defense got slim. Yeah, they got some time to figure some things out through the draft, but
as of right now, their wide receiver starting depth chart is Curtis Samuel, who's pretty good. I'm gonna say he's pretty good.
Khalil Shakur,
and then Hollins from Atlanta.
Yeah, Matt Collins, and they also have Justin Shorter, but
yeah. That's not contending wide receiver depth chart, so
yeah.
Buffalo definitely has to make some moves going forward, though. We know, I'm not going to say they're in a rebuild mode, but with all these
The window's closed, though. The window's closed.
I'm not going to say it's closed, but all I'm saying is it got lowered. I
mean, the AFC is loaded, kid. They lost Stephon Diggs. They lost Jordan Poyer. They lost Tre'Davious White. They lost Gabe Davis. They lost Leonard Ford. I mean, they lost Terrell Dotson, another linebacker. They lost their center in Mitch Morse. They lost a lot of pieces, and for them to compete, screw the division. They got to compete with Baltimore. They got to compete with Cleveland. They got to compete with Houston now. Obviously, the defending champs in Kansas City. Like, this is a loaded AFC. And, you talk about the Houston Texans not just being the best team in the division. They won last season. Just look at the Texans 2-3 years ago. They were a laughingstock. They were a 4-win team. Now we're talking about them being, and you said 2. I think they're the 3rd best team right now in the AFC. I truly do. I think number 1, obviously, is the Kansas City Chiefs. I think 2 is Baltimore, and I think Houston is the 3rd best team right now.
I'm going to go with Houston ahead of Baltimore just because Baltimore lost a lot as well, though. Let's remember, 3 starting offensive linemen, Patrick Queen and Jadeveon Clowney, who had 10-plus sacks. Those are going to be key holes.
I think the defense is still better than the Texans.
Yeah. But still, I think the Baltimore Ravens won't be as good as they were last year. Put like this, I don't see the Ravens being the number 1 overall seed this upcoming season.
I mean, we always say that, and then they find ways to win. So their running game should be good. I do trust John Harbaugh. So I still like the Ravens. I'm going to still respect them a little bit. But, yeah, regardless, they're a top 3, top 4 team in the AFC right now. And I'll say this. Instead of the other team in Texas actually talking about it and going all in, this team is actually about it. DeMeco Ryan in the front office is actually putting pieces around CJ Stroud. This team is better than the Dallas Cowboys right now. They're the best team in Texas. Is that fair to say?
Are they better than the Cowboys right now? As constructed, I'm going to have to say yes. Talk to me after, draft day or, even training camp or even come, preseason, but as of right now, dog, I gotta give the edge to the Houston Texans. Honestly,
they have the best. Yeah, they have the better receiving core. I would argue they have the better coach. I would argue they have the better quarterback. They have the better receivers. They have the better offensive line. Defense, better running back. Yeah, better running back. Offensively, they have better everything. Defense, we'll see. We'll see how they shape up, but I think overall, I would take the Texans over the Cowboys. And, we always hear Jerry Jones, we're going to go all in. We're going to do this. But they don't go out and get a number 1 receiver for Dak. Texans are actually doing it. They went out and got a number 1 running back to help them in the run game. They went and got a Hunter from the Vikings to pass rush and help Will Anderson on the other side. They are actually doing it. Jerry Jones and the Cowboys aren't doing it. So I think they're the best team in Texas right now. That's fair to say, right?
Yeah. It's hard to deny, especially a day after the trade.
Yeah, so very, very crazy news. So how I never really say this is a win-win for both sides, but it really feels like a win-win for both sides. From the offseason that the Bills are having, it seems like they're in rebuild mode.
I'll say this is a win-win just because they'll, as of late, I'm going to just say just this past season, Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen didn't accumulate enough wins. Whatever they were doing, whatever Stephon Diggs is, it wasn't adding up to wins anyway. So you might as well addition by subtraction. They'll get as much value as you can from him. He will. I think he took. I think still the Bills took a $31 million cap hit.
Yeah, they
Still,
did. And he's
that's
so now, yeah. Yeah, so like you said, they are gonna pay his $31 million that he is owed. The Buffalo Bills are gonna pay. So technically, they only got him for the 1 year. So Houston traded a second round pick to secure Stephon Diggs season for 1 season. Diggs, he has incentive to give the Texans, the best version of himself on and off the field. He's in a position now to negotiate another long-term deal, get more money. But I agree. I thought the writing was on the wall for Stephon Diggs and Buffalo. It seemed like he was unhappy. We saw him blow up on Josh Allen multiple times on the sideline. We saw, Trayvon Diggs, his brother, come out on Twitter and say he's not happy. He never came out and said it, but we kind of knew. Actions speak louder than words. We heard Stephen A. Smith said, I have sources that he wants out of Buffalo. And it all made sense. And I think it was just the final straw. He stopped believing in the organization. I think when he got there, he was like, oh, we're all in. We got Josh Allen. We got a good defense. They were all in. But I think he's lost kind of faith in the Buffalo Bills. Is that fair to say?
a little bit, though. I'm going to say it's 50-50 just because he wasn't even getting the volume he once was even the year prior. We saw him down the stretch, though. How many games where Stephon Diggs had, 2 catches, 30 yards? One catch, 18 yards, 4 catches, 48 yards. Stephon Diggs didn't have a 100+ yard game since week 8.
Yeah.
But I guarantee he has 4 in the first 7 weeks with CJ. Well, maybe not 4 in the first 7 weeks, but he'll have multiple in the first 7 weeks with CJ than he did the last 9-10 games, including the 2 playoff games, by the way, with Josh Allen.
Let's not forget, Josh Allen threw him a fucking dime in that playoff game.
He did, though.
Stephon Diggs has to catch that.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%, though. But we know Stephon Diggs. He's a true number one. He wants that value, Dill. And for the last 8-9 weeks of the season, he was getting less than 5 targets a game.
I would even argue the last 11 weeks of the season. Yeah. Looking at the numbers, I mean, he fell off, and I don't know.
It's that's coaching as well, Dill. That's the play call. Remember, they fired the OC midway of the season. Maybe that has something to do with it as well.
Yeah. And, we talked about Sean McDermott kind of being on the hot seat, but I think getting into the playoffs kind of saved his job. But
they won, 6 out of 7? 5
yeah,
out of
they
6?
did. Yeah, they won 6 out of 7. You thought they were kind of finding the rhythm, finding the mojo a little bit, but yeah, very, very crazy. But I'm glad. I'm happy that they're surrounding CJ Stroud with a load of talent, good offensive line, and I think the sky's the limit for them. So very, very interested to see what Bills do in the draft, because they're not gonna go into the season with Curtis Samuel. No disrespect to Curtis Samuel, but they're not gonna go into the season as him as their number one.
Last year, your number 1 and number 2 option was Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis. Now it's Curtis Samuels and Hartley.
Yeah.
No disrespect to those guys. It's just not. Yeah. Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. That's all.
Exactly. But in other news in the NFL, Buccaneers announced they reached an agreement, 1-year deal with former Cowboy, former Bronco, former 49er, outside linebacker Randy Gregory. He's been around the league. He does get some pressure. He's a big guy on the outside. You like this move for the Buccaneers?
Yeah, just because their front line is already so talented that you got Peter Vea on right in the middle. You got Shaq Barrett still there. So I like the fact that you're adding more depth. And then with Randy Gregory, as long as he's on the field, he's not having any off the field issue. He's not injured. He's gonna cause havoc. So he's gonna be around the quarterback. He's gonna cause pressure. So I think for a already pretty good defense, I think it's a good win.
Got a funny story about Randy Gregory. You ready for this?
Lay it on me, kid.
All right, so I'm gonna date myself a little bit, but back in college, many moons ago, he was on the Cowboys at this time, and the Cowboys were in town. They were playing the obviously the Baltimore Ravens. I went to Towson, so he goes there, and the girl I'm messing with at the time, she knows obviously I'm big into sports and that I watch the NFL every week, and she goes, "Do you know this guy?" I go, "Yeah, that's fucking Randy Gregory." I was like, how do you know him? And she goes, "My sister just matched with him on Tinder." And she messaged him because it said football player, but it didn't say who it was. And I was like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Call your sister, see if she could get a date." And they start talking, the sister, and Randy Gregory is like, "Yeah, I'm only in here for the weekend. I'm playing on Sunday, but like we could hook up on Saturday, this, that, and the third." And I'm like, "Yes, sir." I was like, she should do it. I was like, he'll probably order her Escalade, the car. I was like, they probably get a 5-star dinner out of it. I was like, hey, she should do it. So that was it. And then I come back and I see her on Sunday, and I'm watching the Ravens versus the Cowboys. And I call this girl. I go, "By the way, did your sister ever take her up on it?" And apparently she did. They went out to dinner, and they finished the deal at night. I mean, what a guy, Randy. Legend.
2 sacks that following Sunday.
He felt good. She took care of him, if you know what I mean. But yeah, Randy Gregory, I heard. You heard about Drake's meat, right? No homo.
Dill. We're not having this right now.
That's what I heard about Randy Gregory.
Move ahead, bro.
That's all I'll say. Yeah, let's transition to the NBA, though, because this has been something I wanted to talk about. I never really understood the move, prior to the All-Star break. We talked about it here. What's going on with the Bucks and Doc Rivers? I mean, they cannot lose at home to the Grizzlies. I don't care if Dame was in or out. Giannis was playing. They have enough to win on that roster. Back-to-back losses to the Wizards and the Grizzlies, that's unacceptable. Milwaukee is now 15-15 under Doc Rivers. They were 30-13 with Adrian Griffin. This is a bad look, kid. What is the problem? And now Doc Rivers, after the loss last night, is blaming the staff. He said, "Oh, I wanted to take Giannis out, but I looked to my staff and they said, oh, he's good to go." No accountability either. This guy's a fucking loser, kid.
So one thing I can honestly say is this has been I'm not going to say a disaster, but not going as planned. Like you said, Adrian Griffin had this team 30 and 13th, first place in the East. First or second place in the East. Maybe Boston was there. I'm going to just say top 2 in the East, very close to the Celtics. Doc Rivers is 15-15 since he took over. Like Dylan said, you can't justify it. You can't lose.
You can't.
To the Wizards and Portland, right? When you're
no, in Memphis. Jared Jackson had like 30 on him.
Yeah. I think you were 11-point favorite against Grizzlies and 13.5 against the Wizards. You can't let that happen, Doc. That's a fireball offense. You lose back-to-back at home. I don't care if Dame is there, Giannis is there. The fact that Giannis was there last night with Brook Lopez, who were both in the defensive player conversation just recent years, the fact that, like you said, Jared Jackson had a game like that, the fact that the Wizards and Grizzlies was able to go in the paint and win games back-to-back in the home floor, that to me, that's just bad coaching. That's me seeing you don't have your team ready to play, especially on your home court. It's not must-win games still, but
no, but it is at this point, because they're in jeopardy. You were talking about them having the 1 seed. Obviously, Boston, they went away from everyone, but they're only a game and a half ahead of the 3 seed. They could fall with, what do they have? 2 weeks left in the season. They could fall from 2 to 5, 2 to 6. Like, it could get out of hand. And like you said, they were a 13-point favorite to the Wizards on Tuesday. On Wednesday, the Bucks were 12.5-point favorites. I mean, that's unacceptable. I don't care. Dame is apparently he'll be ready to go next week. according to reports. But even without him, without Chris Middleton, like you said, they have 2 top 5 defensive player of the year candidates in Brook Lopez and Giannis. They need to win that game. They have enough on that roster to win that game. There's no excuses. I don't care what anyone says. That anybody, Adrian Griffin would have got fired after that. He got fired for being 30-13. Yeah. And Doc Rivers is 15-15 and his job is secure. How is that acceptable?
For the record, Griffin got fired just because they were like the 27th ranked defense. That's really the story. They got fired because they dropped back from being a top 3, top 5 defense the year prior to being a bottom 5 defense. When you let go, arguably one of the best perimeter defenders in Holiday, and replace him with one of the worst, no disrespect to Dame.
No, he is though.
What do you expect? He's I'm gonna just say this, Dill. If I'm the Bucks, I'm worried, but I'm not panicked. Just because, Dill, come playoff time, what do you need? You need that star power. You need that firepower. And I know in a close game, nip and tuck, most of the time, Damian Lillard and Giannis are gonna bring it home. Let's just be real, cuz. So, I understand 15-15 since Doc took over, but all I'm saying is, come playoff time, they could possibly flip this around, Dill.
What has shown you that they can? I don't see it. Nothing. So, yeah.
You still got that championship DNA in there. So you still got Giannis. You still got Chris Middleton. You still got Brook Lopez. You still got Bobby. And whatever it counts for, Dill, Dame could still hit you 5, 6, 7, 8 threes a night.
I can't trust him.
Catch fire. He averages 24 points a game. They're going to meet the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, I don't know. For whatever reason right now, I just can't trust them. I don't even think they get the 2 seed. I think they wind up falling a little bit.
Yeah. I think they fall a little more. I think they tap out 3 or 4.
Yeah, so I don't know. This isn't good. This team is too talented, too deep for them to fall like that. And we said it. We didn't understand the move when they fired him. And we said, you bring in a guy like Doc Rivers who he just, he's I don't trust Doc Rivers. I don't think Doc Rivers is that good of a coach. Yes, he has that championship, but outside of that, he has struggled.
Still, this is another sign why you shouldn't really panic too much. Just look at their home and away record. At home, 29-9. On the road, 18-20. Milwaukee in Milwaukee is still gonna be a tough place to play, though. So long as they're healthy, I'm gonna give Miami the Milwaukee a shot in every series besides the Celtics.
They are home today on Friday against the Toronto Raptors, who Raptors are they're one of the worst teams.
A 12-point favorite again.
They lost 15 in a row. Yeah, they should be.
Yeah, they should be.
They should be, but who knows? And they're playing at home. So they should get back on the winning trail, but I mean, this is just awful right now. I needed your take on that, but this is bad for the Milwaukee Brewers. Still sitting in the number 2 seed, 47-29, but yeah, they got some figuring out to do. Let's stay in the Eastern Conference. We got bad news today surfaced for my New York Knicks. After 2 months of rehab, attempting to make a return for the playoffs, Julius Randle will undergo season-ending right shoulder surgery. He's been out since dislocating his shoulder since January 27th. Apparently, he's been relentlessly rehabbing, trying to make it back before the playoffs, but doctors warned him that his shoulders continued to be unstable and made it unsafe for him to play again this season. He's done everything possible to avoid surgery and returns to the playoffs, but the procedure became an increasing availability after, he saw 2 specialists who warned him, do not play. It's going to hurt your shoulder. So he has to get surgery. The Knicks, they're out with one of their best players. Hopefully, and I know it's still a big if, but if OG can come back and Mitch can come back, I still think that the Knicks can hopefully make a playoff push. But this one hurts, kid.
Yeah, though, you lose Julius Randle, even though he wasn't really there for the thick of things when y'all really took off, though, it still sucks, just because it was a slim chance, but Dill, I'm going to be real with you. The Knicks I'm going to give a 5% chance to represent the East. maybe even an 8% chance still, just because y'all could win some matchups. Depending on who y'all get, I could see the Knicks winning a round or two, depending on the matchup, deal. So defensively, I don't know if y'all gonna miss it, but offensively during some stretches against certain opponents, y'all gonna need Julius Randle. So
Yeah.
the very slim chance I give them, but their championship window's out the window. Even though it was a really pie in the sky, chance, but this is the best Knicks team I've seen honestly in my whole life since Carmelo Anthony and J.R. Smith was on the team together. So I it just sucks that the news come what 2.5 weeks before the playoffs. But still, one thing I can honestly say is hopefully moving forward, you're healthy. Keep the band together as much as possible for the upcoming season, and maybe the Knicks and Jalen Brunson could do something. Y'all was heading down the right path this year, but
Yeah.
with the injuries there, I know it sucks. Trust me, I know it sucks. But hey, like what you
Yeah.
kept saying last year, blue
Orange and
and
blue skies.
orange and blue skies. That's what you got to look at it.
Yeah,
Your
it's a
your
tough
future,
one.
your future looks way brighter than the past 10 years. That's
I could admit that, but it just sucked because there was a lot of hope and potential with Julius Randle coming back, OG coming back. Our defense is one of the best in the league, and I think you're right. Like, depending on what seed we end up getting, whether it's the 3, 4, or 5 seed, I think we can win a matchup. But yeah, Eastern Conference Finals, I think, might be out the window. But it just sucks because Julius Randle, we need a guy besides Jalen Brunson that can go out and give us a bucket. And usually we turn to the guy like Julius Randle. So wish for a speedy recovery. But yeah, very tough news here for us Knick fans. Before we get to our picks for the weekend, I'll tell you guys about our sponsor, Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. It's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebrations, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We favor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives. Whether it's Huckleberry playing a round of golf with the boys or an elderberry watching the UFL this weekend, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. I believe here at the Dream Wager and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, kid. Let's start on the diamond. We opened up talking about the Mets finally getting their first win of the season. Finally, Pete Alonso had a nice home run in the 9th inning, but we got a 13-game slate here for Friday. And let's start with that first game. We'll go out to the Bronx, the home opener for the New York Yankees. Yankees are hosting the Blue Jays. Marcus Stroman going a little revenge game for Marcus Stroman going up against Yusei Kikuchi. -155 for the Yankees, +130 for the Blue Jays. Over under is at 8.5. Elvis, I'll let you lead this one off. What do you got here?
Still, you said it perfect. A little revenge spot for Marcus Stroman, the Yankees home opener, coming off that hot start, starting the season on the road. Still, I got the number earlier at -142 on the money line. I thought that was such a great number. I see why it spiked up. So many people probably hopped on it. The fact that you get the Yankees at home against Toronto, -142, I think that number was a solid number. At -155, this is still a little too rich. My top out with the MLB is like -160, but -155 still. I still do the money line deal, but to be honest, I advise anybody to do the run line by +126 with the Yankees. It could get spicy in New York. The short porch, left and right, with Juan Soto and that lineup deal, it could get nasty. So I definitely think the Yankees take care of business and sprinkle something on the run line.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna take a total and take a shot on the over 8.5. Like I said, Stroman and Yusei Kikuchi going on the mound. Stroman pitched really well in his first start. He went 6 innings, only gave up 4 hits. I want to see if he could be a little more consistent. That was the problem for him when he pitched over here in Toronto and in New York. Yankees, they've been unstoppable right now, coming from behind, taking the lead. And, the Blue Jays, they've just been very inconsistent. Offense has kind of been up and down. I do think they'll be able to get some runs off of Stroman, and I definitely think the Yankees will get to Kikuchi. He didn't have a good start either. It's going to be a windy day, 14-mile-an-hour winds blowing out into already a small ballpark. So, yeah, I think we're going to see runs in this game. I'm going to take the over for the first game, over 8.5. Let's go to the second game, Detroit Tigers. Coming back home after playing a double header here in New York, Tariq Skubal going for the Tigers, J.P. Sears going for the Athletics. Minus 245 for the Tigers, plus 200 for the Athletics. Over under is at 7.5. Elvis, what do you got here?
This is a damn near stay away from me. Detroit is definitely the right side. Though, if anything, I'll lean the under 7.5. Detroit's heading home after a double header against the Mets, like you said earlier. And then, do we believe in the Athletics to score a couple runs on the road? I don't. It's gonna be Detroit. It's gonna be a little windy. It's a pitcher friendly ballpark. You know what? I'm gonna take it official. Give me the under 7.5 at minus 120.
Yeah, I usually don't do this a lot, but give me the A's plus 1.5 at minus 111. I don't think that's a bad play in my opinion. Like I said, Tigers playing a doubleheader. Now they're traveling back to Detroit. They probably won't get to Detroit till about 9-10 o'clock. Regardless or not, bats might be tired. Even if Tariq Skubal, which I mean, he's a stud. I do think he could have a really good game, but I do think the A's could keep this close. Tigers don't hit lefties all that well, and I think J.P. Sears could actually keep this one close. So why not? I'll take a hack, no pun intended, with the A's plus 1.5 at minus 113. Let's go to Wrigley Field, 2:20 Eastern start. The Dodgers are on the road taking on the Chicago Cubs. Right now, the Los Angeles Dodgers are a minus 170 favorite, plus 154 for the Cubs, minus 1.5 at even money for the Dodgers, plus 1.5, minus 120 for the Cubs. Over under is at 7. Elvis, I'll actually start this one off. And why the hell not? I'll take a shot here with the home dog. Give me the Cubs. As long as you're able to get a plus 150 or better, I think that's a good value play with the Cubs. I get why the total is at 7. Seems about spot on. It's going to be a cold, windy day at Wrigley, so total has to be low. And like in the NFL, when the total's low, the odd makers are indicating that the dog should be live. And I got to imagine the Cubs being live here. It was a bad start for your boy Kyle Hendricks, but coming back home where he's much comfortable pitching, based on value, I got to take a shot here. I know a lot of people like Bobby Miller, and I think he is a really good pitcher for the Dodgers, but at plus 154, based on value, I'm going to take a shot here with the dog.
Yeah, Dale. I wanted to go to the window on the run line with the Cubs at minus 120 with the plus 1.5, Dale, but I'm trying to wait. Tune into my action tomorrow. I'll probably take the first 5 plus a half a run. Right now, there's no lines on that as of right now. I do like the 1.5, Dylan, but I would love the plus half in the first 5 with Kyle Hendricks on the mound.
All right. Let's go out to Colorado. The Rockies are hosting the Tampa Bay Rays. 4:10 start here. Austin Gomber going for the Rockies. Zach Lytle, don't really know the pronunciation, however you want to pronounce it. But Rays, minus 166 favorite, minus 1.5 is at minus 120, plus 148 for the Rockies, plus 1.5 is at even money. Over under is at 12.5. Elvis, I'll start this one again. I'm going to go over. Give me over 12.5. Even not playing in altitude, the Rockies have been in a lot of high scoring games, 8-9, 12-2, 9-4. And with Austin Gomber on the mound, I feel like the Rays are going to tee off on him. We got 17-mile-an-hour winds blowing out into center field, plus the altitude. Maybe you don't trust the over because maybe the Rockies don't get there, but maybe the Rays team total. I think the Rays are going to score a lot of runs here. So I'm going to go over 12.5 here. What do you got?
Dale, I'm pissed about wanting to go the over. I'm glad you did, so I'm not going to force it. We already got one over in on the pod. I'm not going to touch it, but first game in Colorado, we got to go with the over, people.
Yeah, exactly. Let's fucking go. It's weird start time. 4:12 Eastern start time. The Orioles taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Hey, The Pittsburgh Pirates finally got a loss. Who's going for them? Grayson Rodriguez going for the Orioles. Jared Jones going for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Minus 136 for the Orioles. Minus 1.5 is at plus 126. Plus 120 come back for the Buccos. Plus 1.5, minus 152. Over under is at 8. I'll let you start this one off, kid. What do you got?
Still, with Rodriguez having such a great outing, in his first start last week, I think the right side is Baltimore on the road. Don't get me wrong, the Pirates are playing at a high level, but I just feel like Rodriguez on the mound, the right side is Baltimore, but still to lay minus 142 on the road. I ended up staying away from it. I don't want to force it, but I do like the Orioles in this scenario. Minus 136, minus 142, whatever you can find.
Yeah, we finally got there with fading the Pirates. I've been trying to fade them all day. Didn't get there today. I tried to fade them again today. They beat the Nationals good, but I love the price here we're getting. I know you saw minus 142. They are minus 136 out there, so shop around. But I love the price we're getting here with the Orioles. I made them a minus 150 favorite based on, besides the home run Grayson Rodriguez gave up. I really like what I saw for him in his first start. He was really good. And Jared Jones, he pitched really well too, but it was against the Angels. This is a much different lineup. The Orioles, they're great with runners in scoring position. They're aggressive at the plate, and they also hit much better. They also hit righties much better than lefties. So I'm going to take the discounted rate. I'm going to take the Orioles on the money line. That's probably one of my favorite plays of Friday. So that's where I'm going to go with that one. Let's go to the next game. 4:35. These weird times. 4:35 Eastern start. The San Francisco Giants are hosting the San Diego Padres. Dylan Cease going for the Padres. Jordan Hicks going for the Giants. Minus 116 for the Giants, minus 1.5, plus 172, minus 102. Short dogs for the Padres. Over under is at 7.5. This one was a tough one for me. If anything, I stayed away. If anything, I'd gun to my head, I'd probably take the Giants on the money line. I do think they should be the favorite at home. Total seems about right. 7.5, 8. Don't feel comfortable playing the under in any Giant game right now. They're in a lot of high-scoring games. They're 7-0 towards the over in their 7 games to start the season. Plus, we'll have 12-mile-an-hour winds blowing out into center field. So maybe it continues. I see plus money at over 7.5. So maybe an over. Maybe Giants team total over. I'd maybe like that a little better. But I do think the Giants get back in the win column. So that's my lean. No official play here.
Yeah, this is another one. I agree with you 100%. I ended up staying away. Gun to my head, I'll probably roll with San Diego. If they were home, I probably would have went with them officially, Dill. But I'm not gonna take them on the road. I do think they should be favored though.
All right, let's go to the next game. The Cincinnati Reds taking on the the red hot New York Mets. Right now, the Cincinnati Reds minus 116 on the money line, minus 1.5, plus 155, plus 105 for the Mets, minus 188 on the run line. Over under is at 9. Elvis, this is the perfect spot to fade the Mets. They just got done playing a doubleheader. Now they have to travel to Cincinnati. Reds had the day off. And plus, I love Hunter Green. Despite the loss in his first start, I didn't think he pitched all that bad. He only gave up 2 runs, struck out 7. The walks were the problem. He had 4 walks. I think if he controls it a little better, but I don't think that's going to be an issue tomorrow. The Mets, they don't walk. The Mets are basically bottom 5 in all offensive categories. This is going to be a rested lineup, and the Reds are an aggressive team, especially in the middle of that lineup with Steer, with Elliot De La Cruz. This is a very interesting Reds team. This is my team to come out of the NL Central. They're a much better team than the Mets right now, getting a huge discount. Reds money line, Reds run line, everything you want to take. Give me the Reds here.
Yeah, I think you broke it down perfectly. The Mets coming off a back-to-back doubleheader today, losing 4 out of 5 to start the season. Then you got to go on the road while the Reds are rested at home. The fact that the number is this short, to me, is disrespectful. For anybody that's listening live right now, go take the Cincinnati Reds at minus 125 live right now before the number increases. I guarantee come tomorrow it will be a 130, 140. Guaranteed. Give me the Reds money line minus 125.
All right, let's go to the nation's capital. Nationals hosting the Philadelphia Phillies. Phillies favorites on the road, -180, -1.5 is at -110, +154 for the Nationals, +1.5 is at -110. Over/unders at 8.5. Aaron Nola going for the Nationals, or for the Phillies, excuse me. Patrick Corbin going for the Nationals. I'm on a total here, kid. It's already on the move. It opened up at 8.5. I jumped on that. There are 9s out there starting to pop up. So if you do like the 8.5, I would jump on that because I do think it's going to get to 9. Regardless, I still like the over. Aaron Nola didn't look good in his first start against the Braves. 6 runs on 11 hits. And granted, it was the Braves. They're gonna make a lot of pitchers look bad this season. That's just how good they are. And we all know, we love to fade Patrick Corbin. So he didn't look good in his first start either. Both teams can score some runs. They're both 4-1 towards the over their last 5 games. So I think the train continues tomorrow. Give me the over 8.5. What do you got here, kid?
Yeah, nothing official, Dill. I lean Philadelphia on the run line. Like you said, Corbin does let a lot of contact, and I think with the poor performance in the first game, I think Nola comes back strong, especially on the road against Washington. So I think I gotta lean the run line with Philadelphia at -110. It's -110 for a reason.
Yeah. All right, let's go out. Let's keep it in the NL East. We'll go out to Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta Braves hosting the Arizona Diamondbacks. Huge favorite. Spencer Strider going for the Braves. Tommy Henry going for the Snakes. -265 for the Braves. -1.5, -128. +235 for the D-backs. Over/under is at 8.5. This is a tough game to get some value on unless you really like the Snakes with Tommy Henry getting +235. But I'm so much of a value guy. Like I said, I took the Cubs earlier in the show, but I can't take the Snakes here. Tommy Henry did not look good in his first start. He got rocked by the White Sox, and that's the only win for the season for the White Sox. So going up against Spencer Strider, who might be arguably the best pitcher in baseball right now. And outside of that one home run he led up against the Phillies, he looked really good in his first start. So this is the first road trip for the Snakes, while this is the home opener for the Braves. I just think this is a bad spot for the Snakes and Henry. This is a dangerous lineup with the Braves. The Braves first in batting average, first in slugging. They don't strike out. I just think this is a really bad spot for them. The Diamondbacks, they're even able to score some runs. We saw them come back against the Yankees yesterday, even though they lost an extra. They're still finding ways to score. They're averaging 4.5 runs per game this season. Only small sample size, only 5 games, but we got winds blowing out in Atlanta tomorrow. So I think both teams are able to score some runs. I'm going to go over 8.5 here as my official play.
Yeah, it's a stay away with Spencer Strider on the mound. Till it's gonna be tough for the bats. A +220 on the money line, Dill. To be honest, it's worth a sprinkle realistically, but in Atlanta, I don't know, it's tough. There's a reason why it's that high. It's a stay away from me, Dill.
All right. 4 games left. Let's go out to Kansas City Royals hosting the Chicago White Sox. Royals -174 favorite. -1.5 is at +118. +154 for Eric Fetty. Bradley Singer going up, by the way, for the Royals. Over/under is at 8.5. Elvis, I'll let you start this one. What do you got?
Yeah, this one, Dill. I lean the under 8.5. I have no official play on the side. Yeah, 2 bad teams. I don't trust Chicago, especially on the road. Do not trust the White Sox on the road. But do I trust Kansas City? Dill, money line is a little too rich. Would I go with Kansas City on the run line? I wouldn't. I wouldn't advise you to do that. So I'll lean the under 8.5. Dill.
Yeah, I'm on the same side. It's gonna be a team ride. Give me the under 8.5 at -110. I've been betting a lot of unders for this White Sox team, and it's been profitable so far. 3-1-1 toward the under so far in the season. I think it continues now. White Sox, they've been struggling mightily to score runs. Besides that one game where they scored 6 runs and still lost, they haven't scored more than 3 runs in any game this season. So another game where maybe you want to attack the White Sox team total under, but I like the full game under 8.5, maybe like a 3-1. 4-1 type of game. So yeah, I agree. I'm going to take the under here. Let's go out to Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. The Rangers are hosting the Houston Astros. Going for Texas, you have Cody Bradford, and then for Houston, you have Hunter Brown. Right now, favorites on the road, Houston, -126, -1.5, +125, +114 for the home dogs in the Texas Rangers, +1.5, -150. Over under is at 9.5. I'm going to go with the home puppy here, kid. +114 for the Rangers. I think they should be the favorite here. At home, Cody Bradford, he had a really nice outing against the Cubs in his first start. 3 hits in 5 innings. He struck out 6. And Hunter Brown actually had a nice outing as well. The Astros just couldn't get him any run support at that time. So this is the Astros' first time playing on the road. I wonder how they'll play on the road this season. Rangers coming back home where they've usually performed better than on the road. So I think overall, I think they have the better pitcher. I think they have the better lineup. And the Astros offense is just too inconsistent for me right now. So I just think the Rangers are the better team. At +114, give me the home dog. Okay, what do you got?
Yeah, to me, it'll make sense why the Rangers are the underdog, especially at home, Dale. That's what I'm going to go. Give me the Texas Ranger. I called them earlier at +110. Still love it at +114. Gotta love it at +114, Dale. I just trust them a little more. Like you said, Houston hasn't really been consistent enough for me. And I just feel like the Rangers, especially at home, they can win a close game. The only way I see the Houston winning this game, if they're up by like 3, 4, 5 runs. I feel like the Rangers, they could win a nip and tuck game, close the deal with a save. Houston, I don't see that as of yet. So give me the Rangers +110 on the money line.
All right, 2 games left. Let's go out to Milwaukee. They will be taking on the Seattle Mariners. Going for the Mariners, Logan Gilbert, Freddie Peralta going for the Brew Crew right now. Brewers -118 favorites, -1.5, +168, +1.5, +105 for the Mariners. Over under is at 7.5. I do see 7s out there as well. This one was another tough game to handicap, I thought. I had no really feel on the game. I do think the Brewers should be the favorite at home. Total seems spot on. I guess, gun to my head, I would lean with the Brewers at home. They've just been the more consistent team to start the season. I don't know what's up with the Mariners right now. I really don't. They can't score right now. Their pitching hasn't been delivering either. I don't trust them, and I haven't seen them play on the road yet either. So I do think the Brewers are the right size. So for the show purposes, I didn't get to the window with this, but for the show, I would lean with the Brewers here. What do you got?
Still, I did get to the window with it. Give me the Brew Crew -118 on the money line. Like you said, Peralta's on the mound. In Seattle, they just haven't looked good. And Dill, I always say when it comes to this scenario, just take the better team at home. It's just as simple as that. Milwaukee, they're looking better, they're playing better, and they're at home, and they have the better pitcher on the mound. Give me the Brewers -118 on the money line.
All right, and then last game, we saved the best for last. The Red Sox going on the road to Anaheim to take on the Angels. Both teams, they're 5-2. 5-2 for the Boston Red Sox, kid. Cutter Crawford on the mound against Griffin Canning. Right now, Angels, Halos, -112, short favorites at home, -1.5, +164. -102 short dogs for the Boston Red Sox. Over under is at 9. Elvis, this is your team. 5-2. Good start to the season, kid.
Great start for the season, Dill. The over looking good. Over 78, over 79. Don't matter. It's gonna hit by a mile, Dill. I'm gonna say this once. Give me the Red Sox on the money line. -102, -108. It don't matter, Dill. The Red Sox are rolling right now, better than I expected to be. Angels playing pretty good ball. I'm not gonna lie, but at the end of the day, I think we take care of business on the road. We've been taking care of business on the road. I think we continue that going. Give me the Boston Red Sox -108 on the money line.
Yeah, team ride here. Give me the Red Sox. I got it at even money, -102, -108. Regardless, I actually think they should be like closer to a -120 favorite. I'm not a fan of Griffin Canning at all, home or on the road. Surprisingly, both teams coming in on 4-game winning streaks, but I do think the Red Sox are the better team offensively, defensively, and regardless of his first start, he did lose. Cutter Crawford, I thought he looked good against the Mariners. 3 hits on 6 innings. He did strike out 7. Angels strike out a ton, so maybe you want to look towards a Cutter Crawford K prop. If it's around 6.5, 5.5, I do think Cutter Crawford can strike out a lot of people tomorrow. So yeah, I think they got the better pitcher. I think they have the better lineup. I think the Red Sox are a better team right now. I think if we got this matchup, say in June, July, I think the Red Sox are a minus 150, minus 160 favorite. So I think we're getting a discounted price early on in the season, and I'm going to take it. Give me the Red Sox at even money. Elvis, thank you so much. Let's transition into the hardwood. We got 12 games on the slate. Some good matchups too for Friday. OKC taking on the Pacers. The Kings going to Boston. You got the Knicks and the Bulls. Even the Heat and the Rockets should be a good game. Warriors, Mavericks, you got some games. So let's start with the first game. Orlando Magic going to Charlotte, laying 11.5. Over under is at 204.5. Any opinion on this game, kid?
Still, you gotta lean with Charlotte plus 11.5 at home. Give credit to Orlando. They deserve. They've been working their butts off right now. The number 4 seed. Give them credit, Dale. But to be honest, to lay basically 12 points, I don't know. Give me the Hornets plus 11.5. Heavy lean on it. Check my action come tomorrow. But as of right now, lean Hornets plus 11.5.
All right, let's go to the next game. Indiana Pacers hosting the OKC Thunder. By the way, OKC got blown out the other night. We were like, oh yeah, 6.5, 7 might be a little. They lost by like 30. Hopefully they could come back. They're still underdogs. Pacers laying 4.5 at home against OKC. Over under is at 235.5. The little bounce back spot here for the OKC.
Yeah, I expect to bounce back. For some reason, Shai Alexander hasn't been playing the past 2 games, or one of the Williamses. So, if they're in the lineup come tomorrow, the line might flip. So, I took OKC plus 5 earlier. As of right now, they're plus 4.5. I just think they do. The tough loss against the 76ers the other night, got blown out, like you said yesterday against the Celtics. Yeah. They got a day off today. I think they regroup. They get back in the win column. Remember, they're still fighting for the number 1 seed. They're live in it. So give me the plus 5 with OKC.
All right, love that. Let's go to the next game. Close on the books. Washington Wizards short favorites at home, minus 1.5. Minus 122 on the money line, plus 102 for the Portland Trailblazers. Portland Trailblazers finally got off their skid. They won the other night. They're on a 1-game winning streak, and now they're taking on Washington, who just came off a loss. Bounce back spot here at home for the Wizards.
Dill, I might have to take the Wizards officially on the money line, Dill. Yeah. Like I said, Portland won their game. I doubt they win 2 in a row. To be honest, Wizards looked good in the 4th quarter against the Lakers.
They did.
They were getting blown out, but they kept it close. They made it a game, especially late. If we see a little more of that, I think the Wizards win comfortably. Give me the Wizards minus 122 on the money line.
All right, let's go to the next game. Good game in Boston. Celtics hosting the Sacramento Kings, laying 8.5 at home, plus 8.5 for the Kings, plus 275 on the comeback. Over under is at 223.5. Celtics on a 3-game winning streak, and the Kings, they've been slipping even though they've won 2 in a row. But on the road, they're 21-16. Can they keep this one close?
Still, I'm not sure. The Celtics are just playing at another level right now. You got to respect what's going on. I think you even got to apologize to Mazzulla, the coach, still, because what the Celtics have been going on as of late, still, even when they, those couple games against Atlanta, little mishaps, still they're back. They're playing at a high level, especially defensive side of the ball. Give me the Boston Celtics minus 8.5 against the Kings. The Kings, to be honest, I understand they won 2 in a row, but the Kings play their best basketball against the Lakers for some reason. I expect the Celtics to take care of business at the Garden.
I will not apologize until I see it in the playoffs. Until he starts not doing those dumb timeouts. He still does dumb things at the end of the game. Even though they're good, they're a regular season team. I want to see it in the playoffs. So until they get over that hump, then the apology will come. Oh, let's go to the Chicago Bulls. They will be hosting the New York Knicks. Close on the books. Bulls short favorites, -1, -118 on the money line, -102 for the Knickerbockers. Over under is at 211. Give me the Knicks. We need this one, kid. We've lost 3 in a row. We're slipping a little bit. We got to stay within this 5 or 4 seed. against the Bulls, who, they've been good, but 19-20 at home. Knicks are good on the road. I think they need this one, kid. I'm going to take the Knicks on the money line.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go there officially. Maybe come tomorrow, but it's a tough one to decide on. But your New York Knicks are definitely the right side. They're, like you said, losers in 3 straight. I expected to bounce back against Chicago, even though Chicago's been playing decent ball as of late. Your Knicks are just a better team, but can they get out of the slump? I
We'll
think
see.
so. I think so. We'll see. Come tomorrow.
All right, we're rooting for Houston in this next game. Houston Rockets taking on the Miami Heat. Heat short favorites on the road, -1 on the spread, -118 on the money line, -102 short dogs for the Houston Rockets. Over under is at 214.5. Miami, watch out. They've won 3 in a row right now. Houston, they were on that big. They were 8-2 in their last 10. They've lost 2 in a row right now. Hopefully they get back on this winning circle. What do you got here?
Dale, I'm gonna take the Houston Rockets at -102 on the money line, Dale, in a must-win scenario. I think they have to win this game, Dale. They play Golden State this weekend. You have to win this game. You have to beat Golden State as well, Dale. To me, Houston, they have to win out. Golden State, I think they have 2.5, 3-game lead now. Houston, you got to fight, you got to win. Give me Houston on the money line, -102 at home versus the Heat.
All right, maybe a must-win in this next game. Golden State Warriors on the road taking on the Dallas Mavericks. Mavericks at home laying 5.5. -218 on the money line, +180 for the Warriors. Over under is at 218.5. They've won 5 in a row. They're creeping up. They've kind of distanced themselves a little bit from the Houston Rockets, but they need to continue to win. But this Dallas Mavericks team is really good. They're 8-2 in their last 10. Can they do it?
Like you said, though, Dallas has been playing at a high level. Winners are 8 of the last 10, but Golden State winners are 3, 4 straight. I think they keep it going, Dill. I'm not saying they're gonna leave Dallas with a win. All I'm saying is give me the Golden State Warriors +5.5 points. I think they make it close. They might walk out with a victory. They've been playing at a good level. I just think they lose a close one. Give me the Warriors +5.5.
All right. And then last game on the slate, we will head out to the desert. The Phoenix Suns hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves. Suns laying 3 at home, -148 on the money line. Big win for them the other night against the Cavs. And then the Minnesota Timberwolves +124 on the buyback. Over under, is at 220. Both teams on 2-game winning streaks, kid. But I think the Suns need this game a little more. They can't be. They're fighting to stay alive in that 6th seed. They're tied with the Pelicans. So, yeah, I think that a lot of these games down the stretch, these last 2 weeks, are going to be must-win games for the Suns to stay out of the play-in, kid. What do you got here?
Like you said, though, this is a must-win game for the Phoenix Suns. They don't want to be in that play-in. No. They don't want to play Dallas. They don't want to play the Lakers. They don't want to play Golden State in a must-win game. Yeah. So give me the Phoenix Suns. I called -2.5. I still like the -3. Look what Devin Booker did the other night against the Pelicans, and look how they saw against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So pretty good Cleveland Cavaliers team. And I think this is a game where Frankie V, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Booker, they all come together and be like, all right, this might be a potential first-round matchup. Let's handle business and see how we really do this game, and then see we could prepare ourselves not only to secure the number 6 seed, but possibly even be prepared to face them down the road. Give me the Suns -2.5, -3, whatever it's at.
Let's fucking go. Thank you, E. And then, Elvis will definitely have plays for Saturday and the weekend. So, guys, make sure you guys check his Action app. Let's head to the gridiron, kid. Hey, we were very profitable week 1, 3-1 for me. I think you went 3-1 as well, right?
I went
2-1.
2-1.
Okay, 2-1. 2-1. That's fine. Hey, we're starting good. Let's keep it rolling. Let's start with Saturday. The first place San Antonio Brahmas taking on the Memphis Showboats. The only team because there's only 2 leagues, or 2 divisions, I guess you could say. San Antonio, conferences. San Antonio, so it's the XFL conference against the USFL conference. So thank you. It's not divisions, it's conferences. San Antonio, only team of the XFL with a win. St. Louis lost, Arlington lost, DC lost. Now they're going up against Memphis, who won as well. Right now, Memphis is the home team, but they're underdogs. San Antonio laying 2 on the road, minus 130 on the money line, plus 110 for the home dog. Over under is at 40. I laid the 1.5 kid with San Antonio. I'm gonna take them. I think they did enough to win last week. And you know what? Memphis, they did enough to beat Houston, but Memphis ended up, with just 228 total offense on 34 rushing yards. They still struggle running the ball. And I think San Antonio, I think they could defend them and keep them in check. So I'm going to take San Antonio here in a close game. I lean under. We saw a lot of unders cash in week 1. I think San Antonio's the right side. I'm going to agree with the books. I'll lay the 1.5 with them.
Still, same here. I'm gonna take the minus 2.5 with the Brahmas. The line is at 2.5 now. I like what I saw last week with the showboats. They'll, to be honest, my former my team, the Roughnecks. I'm gonna stay loyal. The Roughnecks, they didn't look good last week, and to be honest, Memphis just was able to get away with a win. Let's just say that. I think the Brahmas, they take care of business still, and to be honest, I think you got 1.5, 2.5. I think the number's still too short. I think the Brahmas have a chance to at least win this game by a touchdown. So give me the Brahmas minus 2.5 at minus 110.
All right, let's go to the next game. Both teams looking for their first win. Arlington Renegades and the St. Louis Battlehawks. Battlehawks home favorites, a -5. Excuse me, minus 218 on the money line, plus 180 for the Arlington Renegades. Over under is at 41.5. Elvis, I'll let you lead this one off. What do you got?
Even though I didn't like their performance last week, though, I'm gonna still take the Renegades plus the 5. I like the Battlehawks. Battlehawks are right though, but I just still think the Renegades are the better team from what I saw last season. Maybe hey, new year, new season, and whatnot, but I just think the Renegades got off to a bad start last week. They flipped the script this week. Give me the plus 5 at minus 110. And to be honest, I think they're live dogs at plus 180.
Yeah, both, like I said, both teams, Battlehawks and the Renegades, lost their UFL debut last year. But Arlington did so at home, while the Battlehawks lost on the road to a Panther team whose defense looked very impressive, I thought. And, look, for the Battlehawks, the answer to everything, to get their win is the quarterback. How's he going to do? And I didn't think he looked all that good either. So, in front of their home crowd and one of the best crowds in the arena, I was a fool to take them last week, and maybe I'm a fool again, but give me St. Louis Battlehawks. I'm actually going to be on the other side. I'll lay the 5. I see 4.5s out there, so shop around, but I think St. Louis is the right side at home. So I'm going to go the other way in that one. Let's go to Sunday. We'll go with the Stallions on the road taking on the Michigan Panthers. Very good game. I think this is the game of the week, if I'm honest. Birmingham, minus 6.5 on the spread, minus 278 on the money line, plus 225 for the home dogs in Michigan. Over under is at 41. Obviously they won last week. Birmingham Stallion against the Arlington Renegades, who made it to the championship for the XFL. But they're their second straight road game for Birmingham Stallions against one of the best defenses. They looked good last week, the Panthers defense. I think the Stallions might struggle a little bit. So I think they could keep this one close. Give me the plus 6.5 for the Michigan Panthers. I think they could keep this one close. Give me Michigan.
I'm on the opposite side, though. Like I said, the Stallions, I'm not going to say they levels above everybody else, but all I'm saying is they're good. They're very good. I think they're the best team in the league. The Panthers defense, they have a shot. I'll give you that, though. They have one of the best defense in the league, but I'm going to just keep rolling with Birmingham Stallions still. Give me the minus 6.5 on the road. It don't matter.
All right. And then last game on the board, Houston Roughnecks taking on the DC Defenders. DC laying 5 at home, minus 225 on the money line, plus 185 for the Houston Roughnecks. Got off to a bad start week 1. Can they bounce back here? 5-point dogs on the road.
To be honest, though, I like Houston. I love the Roughnecks, but to be honest, I'm gonna lay the 5 with the Defenders. Still, it's just what I saw from the Roughnecks last week. The fact that you couldn't even put up more than 10, 11 points on the Memphis Showboat still, and I don't even think Memphis defense is that good. Houston, they've fallen off. Though the first couple of weeks last season, they were right. Ever since then, they've just been on a bad losing streak. So, I'm gonna lay the 5 with DC. Though I might have to let the Rough Riders go.
Yeah, kid, it was bad. The Houston Roughnecks looked awful on offense last week against Memphis on their home field. That was the kicker too. They failed to reach 200 yards of offense. Jared Garantino, Lodi kid, actually went to Bergen Catholic. Not looking like a professional quarterback, if I'm being honest. He did not look good. He turned the ball over. Decision making wasn't there. So, expectations for the Roughnecks still remain low. They need to change things around a little bit and prove otherwise. So I think DC is the right side. I think they should win convincingly at home. So yeah, I agree. I'm going to lay the 5 here with the defenders. All right. And then last but certainly not least, let's head back to the court and let's talk about Final Four. We'll start with the men's. First game Saturday, North Carolina State taking on Purdue. Don't have the lines in front of me right now, but I'll get it.
Now Purdue is -9, lane 9 at the Final Four. Over under is at 146.5. NC State plus 350 on the money line. Purdue lane 440. It's some 9.5s out there, but 9.5. That's the line.
I'm going to lay it here. I got a 9 earlier in the week, 9.5. No, there's still 9s out there. So if you want to get a solid 9, I'll lay the 9 with Purdue. I think we're on a clash collision for Purdue and UConn. North Carolina State, DJ Burns, great story. I think the matchup between Zach Edey and DJ Burns is going to be epic. I do think they're going to get DJ Burns into foul trouble early on, and then it's going to get crazy, I think. I think a blowout's coming. Purdue's just levels, and I think they've gotten over that hump finally. So as bad as it is, I know it's too high spreads in a Final Four, and a lot of people don't like that, but I think we're on a crash collision for the both number 1 seeds. So I'm going to take I'll lay the 9 here with Purdue.
Yeah, give credit to NC State making it this far, Dill. But when a Cinderella story makes it this far, Dill, we know the outcome. We know what's going to happen. This is a blowout waiting to happen, Dill. Give me Purdue -9. Go Boilermakers. Give all the credit to NC State, Dill. But like you said, I think we're going to see Purdue, UConn final.
Yep. And then the last game on the board, let's go Connecticut taking on Alabama. UConn laying 11.5 against the Tide. Over-unders at 161. High total, but I'm still going to go over, kid. Nothing on the side. I do think UConn wins the game. I don't know if Bama could keep it close. If their threes are on like they were last game, I do think maybe the first half they could keep it close, but I just think UConn just has so much depth. I think both teams play at a very fast pace. I think we see a track meet here. So I'm going to go over 161. I couldn't get anywhere with the side. Gun to my head, I would lean UConn, but 11.5 is kind of big. So I feel more comfortable taking the total. So I'm going to go over 161 here. What do you got?
This is a stay away for me just because, I want to take the plus 11.5 with Alabama, but when a team could go on a 30-0 run in the
That's unheard of, E. I've never heard of that. That's crazy.
That's my only take for this game. The team could possibly go on a 30-0 run. That happened to go on a 30-0 run in the Elite 8.
Yeah.
I can't, even though I like Alabama plus the points, after seeing that, I can't advise anyone.
I can't even fathom it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Run is nuts. In the Elite 8.
And yeah, where they're supposed to be the best 8 teams in the country. Yeah.
Like, all right, round 1, 20 to 4.
And you know what it is?
Illinois run, understandable. 30-0?
And that's what it was. Illinois was a good team too. It's just I don't know. I truly don't know. I saw they were on a 10-0 run. I went to the bathroom and then I saw a 17-0 run. How many timeouts do you have to call to get the boys going? Like it was bad. Yeah. And then last but certainly
close before that run. It was like 24-22.
Yeah, it was relatively close. And then you're never gonna come back from a 30-point Oh, deficit. I don't care who you are. Let's get to the women's Final Four here, and we will start with the first game on the board, and that is. Sorry, I went to the wrong thing.
Yeah,
It
NC
is.
State's taking
Yeah,
on South Carolina. NC State getting 11.5 point, basically damn near the same spread with Purdue. Over under sitting at 139.5. Still, I start here. Give me South Carolina minus 11.5. This is another one. NC State, they're pretty good, but South Carolina just been blowing everybody out. I think they win their margin of victory is like 25 plus points.
yeah,
And
it's crazy.
the whole tournament 25 plus point win. So you just gotta go with uh South Carolina in this scenario, Dylan. And to be honest, I think they're destined.
They're so fucking good, kid. What are they? 36-0. They haven't lost. They have a chance at history of becoming 38-0 and winning it. Think they might do it. Yeah, I'll lay the 11.5 as well. Good run. I love how both men and women's NC State teams are both in the Final Four. Great for the program.
Yeah.
But yeah, South Carolina is
funding is coming.
Yes.
Coming.
Yeah. Money is coming for the organization. Let's go to the next game, and I think this is probably the marquee game of the weekend for basketball. UConn Huskies taking on Caitlin Clark and Iowa Hawkeyes. Iowa laying 2.5. Over under is at 162.5. If you want to take Iowa on the money line, minus 148 plus 124 for UConn. Give me Gino and Paige Beckers plus 2.5 and on the money line plus 124. The difference between LSU and UConn had an answer for Juju Watkins. LSU did not have a game plan for Caitlin Clark. Gino and Mariana and Paige Beckers will have a game plan for Caitlin Clark. Now, she's going to get hers. She's just too fucking good not to get hers. But I don't think she'll go off for 40. If she goes off for 40, they're going to win. I don't think she goes for 40. I think she gets her 25 to 26 points, but I think UConn is going to smother her. I think Paige Beckers is going to go off. I'll take her points over. She's destined as well. She's a bucket. I mean, Paige Beckers could anywhere on the court, she's going to get a bucket. Give me UConn plus 2.5, and I'll take them on the money line plus 124.
I couldn't agree more. Give me UConn plus 124 on the money line. Paige is just a bucket getter. Caitlin, she's special.
She's the best player in the world.
Yeah, she's the best female athlete. No, not athlete. Serena, best female basketball player I've ever seen in my life. She's better than she's
Maya Moore.
Phenomenal. Maya Moore. Wow.
Maya Moore was a bucket.
She's better than Maya Moore. Maya Moore couldn't. She couldn't
crazy.
She couldn't stroke it like Caitlin Clark can. Can Caitlin Clark be the defensive player Maya Moore, two-way player Maya Moore was? Yeah. We'll see. We'll see about that. But Maya Moore never can average 30 plus. Still, let's just be real.
No.
Give me Gino and UConn. Still, I think Iowa, they had a special run. We saw they're able to be had. Especially we saw it against LSU when LSU went on that like 10-0 run. We know they could get dominated on the boards. We saw them lose the boards 50-something to 30-something against LSU. If that happens against UConn, who is a better defensive team, I think they take care of business. I think they march on. Give me plus 124 with UConn.
Oh, yeah. Hell fucking yeah, E. I love it. It's going to be a crazy weekend filled with both men and women's Final Four. We got the UFL week 2. We got a huge both. Usually we don't have. It's usually one or the other. Usually we'll have like a big MLB slate and kind of like only 4 or 5 plays for the weekend. 12 games on the NBA slate. Plus we got UFC back at the Apex, and I'm burying the lead. WrestleMania 40 this weekend at the Link in Philadelphia. I was looking at tickets. I might take a trip down at the Link. My I-95, baby, down the turnpike. I might head to Philly. You never fucking know. But we got a jam-packed weekend filled with sports. Elvis, thank you so much. This was great. Any last word for the people before we get up out of here, kid?
Nah, Dale, it's just everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy the Final Four. Hopefully some good basketball, good baseball. gets played there. So let's just have a great weekend. Hopefully it's a positive weekend. Let's go.
Yeah, next week, big week. We'll cover both national championships for men's and women. We got Masters Week coming up next week. Can't wait for that. But Elvis, that's gonna do it for this Friday edition of the Dream Wager. On behalf of our sponsor, Viva Tequila, Elvis, myself. Make sure you guys follow along our social media, X and Instagram at the Dream Wager. You guys can find all of our episodes wherever you listen to podcasts: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. On YouTube, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, rate, give us a review. All that good stuff really helps the show grow tremendously. So be a friend, tell a friend. Everyone have a great weekend. Good luck on your wagers, and we'll see you guys on Monday. Peace.